right? And the idea is that when you give people this ability to stay connected with all the people they care about, and you make it so that they can express new things about themselves or in communication with other people who they care about, then you just open up all these new possibilities. You make it so people can stay connected in ways that they couldn't before. They can learn about new things, whether it's events that are happening in the world, or ability to organize new things, or learn about new products, or new movies, or music that they want to listen to. It opens up a lot of new possibility when you can keep all of these connections open to the people that you care about. So obviously a big part of our mission is just connecting all these different people in the world. And one of the things that we are really proud of is that now 800 million people around the world are using Facebook every month, and perhaps even crazier. It's mind-blowing from my perspective, but more than 500 million people use Facebook every day. Yeah, I think that those are all just core human needs, and until Facebook, there wasn't a great tool for doing that. But I think that a lot of that and building that up was the last 5 years. I think the next 5 years is going to be about, okay, now you're connected to all these people. Now you can have a better music listening experience. You can have a better movie watching experience. You can see what your friends are reading and learn what news you should read first. All of these things I think are going to get better, and that's the thing that I'm most excited about for the next 5 years. And if we do well, I think 5 years from now, people are really going to look back and say, wow, over the last 5 years, all these products have now gotten better because I'm not doing this stuff alone, I'm doing it with my friends. It's that social media's role is maybe a bit overblown in that. I mean, the way that I think about it is that if people want change, then they will find a way to get that change, right? So whatever technology they may or may not have used was neither a necessary nor sufficient case for getting to the outcome that they got to, but having people who wanted change was. So, I mean, I hope that Facebook and other internet technologies were able to help people, just like we hope that they help them communicate and organize and do whatever they want to every single day. But I don't pretend that, you know, if Facebook didn't exist, that this wouldn't have been possible. Of course it would have. I literally coded Facebook in my dorm room and launched it from my dorm room. I rented a server for $85 a month, and I funded it by putting an ad on the side, and we funded it ever since by putting ads on the side.
Right.
And, but literally just starting small and growing it. So I think you need two things. One is the ability to have engineers, right, and educate engineers who can just try out their own ideas.
Right.
And the second is the ability to try out their own ideas, right, and the freedom to do that. And the US, I think, historically has been extremely good at both. We've led in education, and we've led in freedom and supporting people trying risky things. We have this culture where we place a really big premium on moving quickly, right? And one of the big theories that I had about that was that all technology companies, and probably all companies, just slow down dramatically as they grow. But if we can focus at every step along the way and moving quicker, then, you know, maybe when we're around 2,500 or 3,000 people now, you know, maybe we move as quickly as, you know, a company that only has 500 people, right? Because we've invested so much in building up, you know, the infrastructure and tools, and also the culture that tells people to take risks and try things out. And I just think that ability to build stuff quicker will be a big advantage for us and will help us build better products over the long term. We really are focused on users first and for the long term, right? We believe that if we build a product where people can connect and can express all the things that they want about themselves, that over the very long term, we'll have a lot of people doing that because that's a core human thing where people want to do that, and they'll be very active, and we'll have opportunities to sell advertising and do all these things and build a great business, but none of that is the leading thing that we're pushing for. What we're pushing for is the mission. We think that if we succeed on that, then we're going to build a great business. Now, if I just think that there's this core part of people where they want to express things about themselves. So the question isn't, what do we want to know about people? It's, what do people want to tell about themselves? One of the core things that flows through all of this is that I'd say that probably at this point still the vast majority of people don't want to share everything, or don't even want to share anything with everyone publicly. But if you give people tools so that they can share with just their friends or just one group of friends, I think that people go through a learning process too, where, I mean, maybe when social networks were first ramping up on the web, some people shared a few things too broadly, but I think that that's part of the reason why I think Facebook has grown, is I think Facebook largely existed after that, the Friendster and the MySpace phase of the social web, and at a point where people were already sophisticated enough to realize, hey, I want to share different things with different people. I'm going to use these privacy controls that Facebook has given me, that Facebook is really the first company that has built these controls, so that you can share things with just your friends, or I can share vacation photos from my family vacation with just my family if I want, or I can do all these different things. And I think that that's one of the big enablers on this. The real question for me is, do people have the tools that they need in order to make those decisions well? And I think that it's actually really important that Facebook continually makes it easier and easier to make those decisions, because the demographics of people who are using Facebook are changing as well, right? And we started off with these people in college, right, who use computers every single day, and now, as we're up to 800 million plus users, we have people using the site who it's one of the only things that they do on a computer, and maybe they're not computer savvy, right, or they don't want to spend a lot of time trying to figure out privacy controls. So what we've done in the last year is we've made it so that anytime you go to share anything, the privacy control is now right there, and it says exactly who you're going to share with. If you're going to be sharing publicly, there's a little globe, and it says the word public. And if you're going to be sharing with friends, there's this icon of a few people, and it says the word friends, and you can just click, and you can change that really easily every time you post anything. And back when we were getting started 7 years ago, I don't know if that was necessary, because the college students and early adopter type folks just had this intuitive understanding of how the service worked. But now, I just think that the boundaries, it's getting more and more important to be increasingly clear and give people those controls. And that's what we're trying to do. And I don't think we're at the end. I think we're going to need to keep on making it easier and easier. But that's our mission, right? I mean, we have to do that, because if people feel like they don't have control over how they're sharing things, then we're failing them. I mean, we're making it so they can't share a lot of the stuff that they want to. And we're trying to build products for everyone in the world, right? And you don't want to get isolated to do that. We have a very open culture at the company where we foster a lot of interaction between not just me and people, but between everyone else. I mean, it's an open floor plan. People have these desks where no one really has an office. I mean, I have a room where I meet with people, but it has all glass, so everyone can see into it and see what's going on. I don't know, I think that it's really connected to the mission of the company. I think that more flow of information, the ability to stay connected to more people, makes people more effective as people. And I think that's true socially. It makes you have more fun, right? It feels better to be more connected to all these people. You have a richer life. But I also think in terms of doing work, and in terms of learning and evolving as a person, you just grow more when you get more people's perspectives, and when you're more connected and have more of a flow from people. So I don't know. I think that's really it. I mean, I really try to live the mission of the company and embody that for the company, and keep everything else in my life extremely simple. Google, I think, in some ways is more competitive, and certainly is trying to build their own little version of Facebook. Yeah. But when I look at Amazon and Apple, and I see companies who are extremely aligned with us, right? And we have a lot of conversations with people at both companies, just trying to figure out ways that we can do more together, and there's just a lot of reception there. And I mean, I can't think of an Apple product or an Amazon product. If Apple or Google wants to build a product, they typically go build it, right? Whereas if Facebook wants to make it so that, we want to help rethink the way that people listen to music or watch movies, what do? Right. We build a platform on top of which people can connect, and we enable all these different companies, dozens of companies, to plug in. Companies that are big companies that are small companies, things that don't even exist. Buying a company or selling a company is necessarily a good or a bad thing. I just think that the key thing that you need to realize is that when you go through a transaction like that, what you are changes, right? And if you're now owned by someone else, then your goals are going to either quickly or over time become their goals, right? So there are actually, I think, a lot of compelling reasons why someone would sell a company and why it would advance their mission. I mean, I think, for example, YouTube might have been a good version of this, right? Where, I mean, they had these huge expenses, and Google funded it and has grown it, and it's grown into, I think, a really good product. Maybe it's hard to tell, but I mean, a lot of the acquisitions that we make at Facebook are, you know, we look at great entrepreneurs out there who are building things, and often the acquisitions aren't even to really buy their company or what they're doing. It's to get the really talented people who are out there trying to build something cool and say, you know, if you join Facebook, you could work on this completely different problem. Isn't this a more important problem? And for the people who answer that question, yes, they join. And that's how we've had the most success so far. I mean, all of my friends who, you know, have younger siblings who are going to college or high school, I mean, my #1 piece of advice is you should learn how to program. I mean, I think that in the future, all kinds of jobs, I mean, not even just straight engineering jobs, but all kinds of different jobs are going to involve some element of programming. And I mean, I just look at, you know, when I was in school, and I remember the average salary that an engineer, one of my computer science classmates got, and it's gone up at least 50%, maybe even doubled in the last 7 years since I was at school. And I think the reason is that the economy is shifting, and there are more companies that are growing that are these technology and software focused companies, and the skill set of being able to write code is so highly in demand that, and the amount of engineers who are graduating isn't growing at a fast enough rate that the people who are there are just in more demand, and they get paid more.